Hi, I'm Carolyn from the Herberton Mining Museum, and today I'm going to introduce Lance Chapman, who is the last tin miner left on the Herberton mineral field. Lance owns the General Gordon Mine and Battery, and today he's going to show us the old technique of how to assay tin on a shovel. Yeah.
They were very important men in the mining field. You had to know how good the stone was before you sent it to a mill or started a mine. You had to know there was mineral there. And the old guys could do that simply with crushing some rock. Some of them probably would have used a dolly pot for this first bit. Now, a lot of miners develop their own ways of doing this, different techniques. Now, you should have a closed hand full of dirt. Put that on the shovel, and then you start grinding it down. Hear that real scratchy sound on the shovel, indicates there's tin in the sample. You can also determine the crystal size of the tin, so it determines what size screens you use in the mill to grind your stone to. You've got to grind this material fine enough and try and get it evenly ground, so you aren't trying to wash coarse and fine together. You've got to grind it down to the right size, and makes it a bit easier to separate the rubbish out of there and to get your tin button happening on the shovel. I'll just give this a bit of a wash now and try and get a bit of the rubbish away. And the tin will climb up the shovel. It's a similar action I use to what the table does in the mill. Now I'll have to grind this some more. Just try and discard a bit of stuff out of there. grinding.
Quite an art.
This isn't done very much anymore. Companies all use labs, send all their material away to labs for testing. This was a way in the field, in the bush, you could do a test on your rock and get a reasonable estimation of the quantity of the ore, what grades it was, and whether it's worth treating in a mill. We're getting down to a cleaner product here now, and we should be able to start throwing it up the table, up the shovel. And of course tin climbing up straight up the shovel there. You can see it's starting to form a button shape. You get a bit of a button on the table, on the shovel. You can wash a bit of rubbish out of it. Now the sample I put on there I didn't weigh, but I estimate to be roughly an ounce, a closed hand. Some people use a matchbox. If you want to get very scientific, you can use scales and weigh your sample and then weigh your tin afterwards. But this is looking pretty good. And the tin has come out of that sample. Now, you see how your tin will form a button there, and that button won't fall off your shovel. It'll stay on the shovel. And that seems to be the nature of tin. It'll sit there. Now, I estimate that that's probably 4 to 5% tin, that sample was. It's a bit bigger than my thumbnail, the button. Your thumbnail's roughly 3% tin. That's a bit bigger than that. It's probably 5 or 6%, maybe a little bit more. But it gives you a good idea of how much tin was in that sample, and then you can convert that to tonnage and everything, and determine that it's rich enough to go to a mill to warrant treating. Yep, so that's a button of tin. Yep. This little bit left down here is what you call slime tin, very fine, and see it's floating on the water as well, and that happens in your mills. You lose a lot of that slime tin, will go out with your dirty water and out with your tailings and middlings. So you really estimate that button. The slimes would be lost in the mill on the table. So there.